lot of experiences I've had in my life that I'm very proud of. I retired from the Marine Corps after 22 years. In that time frame, I deployed about 7 times. I was in charge of over 230 Marines. I worked on every platform of the Marine Corps aviation, from Harriers to C-130s to F-18s.
But whenever I was 15 years old, as a Christmas gift, my mom bought me flight lessons. And so I flew a plane before I actually drove a car. I just absolutely loved it, and I knew that's what I wanted to do.
I worked on Wall Street for 8 years. What I loved about Wall Street was the challenge of raising a book of business, the challenge of always getting clients in. I decided to make a career change, and I wanted to go to the very best school I could. What better school than Embry-Riddle?
Embry-Riddle's involvement in distance education began in 1971. We really helped pioneer online education. The philosophy of Embry-Riddle Online is to offer an advanced education that allows students to not only obtain the career that they desire, but to flourish in it for years to come.
I work at Executive Aviation Group. I'm a professional pilot. I did want to continue my education in general for aviation, but I also wanted to bring in the knowledge of the management side so that I can get new opportunities that are out there. So I decided to go ahead and start with Embry-Riddle for my master's.
Presently, I am an aircraft dispatcher at Talon Air. I am also a flight instructor at Ventura. The reason why I chose the online program at Riddle is because my life is anchored here in New York. From the start, my academic advisor really helped me through. We mapped out the entire program, class by class.
Students starting off with an online campus would have some concerns about feeling kind of distance. Our primary role is to make sure that that doesn't happen. We try to do everything we can to make the student feel that they have someone there by their side through it all.
We're also supported by over 100 physical locations, United States, Europe, and Asia. You can always walk into one of our locations and be supported.
If you want to have the absolute best education, Riddle is it. You have different professors from different backgrounds. Outside of Riddle, they are very engaged within their respective fields. So that gives you not only book knowledge, but real life knowledge.
The Eagle Vision website, it's phenomenal. It's fast, it's interactive, with real-time video and chatting.
We are doing things at Embry-Riddle that are very unique, things that people typically thought would only happen in the classroom.
We were actually able to develop and build a virtual aircraft crash investigation lab, where students can walk around in the crash lab as avatars, and they can investigate different aspects of an aircraft accident investigation.
Taking that experience of people who've been in the field and done it, and then they're teaching today, and they've created this virtual lab based on real-world experience, it's really powerful.
You have to bring an online course to life, and that's, I think, where we make the difference and why we're rated number 1. We take the time to think about what we have to do to make that learning experience enjoyable for the student and at the same time maintain our rigor.
We try to make sure that things involve simulations and that students are competing amongst one another. It's friendly competition, and it really brings out the best in people because they're learning together, they're having fun together, they're bonding, and generally it leads to lifelong networking.
I love that I can pursue my education while I have my house, while I have my job. I'm balancing everything out perfectly.
When we design our courses, we have the working adult in mind that allows students to be able to choose the schedule that works best for their busy lifestyle. Currently, we have over 12 undergraduate degrees and over 16 graduate degrees. Some of our graduate programs you can do in 1 year because of our flexible scheduling.
The Embry-Riddle name on your resume is huge. It's recognized throughout the world, and when you see the name Embry-Riddle on a transcript or resume, your employer knows that you've had one of the best educations available.
We're trying to make sure that our graduates can obtain jobs, and we have 2 great resources for students. And one is our Career Services Department, or actually we have an Eagle Hire Network, which allows students to apply for jobs right from our network.
If one day I decide to go the management route, that can be done. If one day I decide to go the safety route, then my education, my background would have given me a solid foundation to tackle those opportunities down the road.
Having that graduate degree ultimately stepped me into a job where I was able to take what I knew from the Marine Corps as well as the education I got from Embry-Riddle Aeronautical University and apply that to fields not only just aviation related but to other aspects as well. But ultimately, I have 2 daughters. I want them to go to college. I want them to say, hey, this is what my dad accomplished. What's holding me back?
If I had the chance to go back 4 years ago and I was faced with the very same choices, would I go to Riddle? Absolutely. To this day, it's the very best choice I've ever made.
Ladies and gentlemen, please rise for the processional. The processional is led today by Dr. Donna Roberts, Associate Dean for the Faculty from the College of Arts and Sciences. She is carrying the ceremonial university mace. Now entering are the candidates for master, baccalaureate, and associate degrees. Our faculty is following the candidates for degree. Now entering is the platform party. Ladies and gentlemen, please remain standing for the German and American national anthems.
Please be seated. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Nancy Tranhorn, and I am the Executive Director for the Embry-Riddle Aeronautical University Worldwide Campus. On behalf of the Platform Party and the faculty, it is my distinct honor to welcome you to the 2022 Commencement Ceremony. At this time, I would like to introduce you to our stage guests for today. Please stand and remain standing. Please hold applause until everyone has been recognized. Starting in the back on your left, Dr. Donna Roberts, Associate Dean for the Faculty for the College of Arts and Sciences and our mace bearer. Dr. Robert Walton, Associate Professor, College of Business, who will be hooding the graduate students today. Mr. Spencer Burns, Chief Executive Officer, Cardiff Airport, and our commencement speaker. And Dr. John Watrett, Chancellor for Embry-Riddle Worldwide Campus. Thank you. Please be seated. Please also join me in recognizing the following distinguished guests. Mr. Roger Wilson, Education and Training Chief Ramstein Air Base. Mr. John Laramie, Principal and CEO, Exeter College. Dr. Nicholas Jepson, Program Chair, Bachelor's in Aviation Management, Cardiff Metropolitan University. Thank you. At this time, please stand as Dr. Roberts comes forward to offer the invocation.
Wise and gracious one, we ask your blessings upon the students, faculty, and staff of Embry-Riddle Aeronautical University. We have been called to the high task of seeking knowledge, promoting ethics, and seeking growth in mind, body, and spirit. We give thanks for the gift of the graduates here today and the ways in which they have made this university a better place for having been here. We ask that you grant students and families joy and satisfaction as they see their dreams of graduation fulfilled on this day. We ask this in the confidence of your grace.
Please be seated. Thank you, Dr. Roberts. We truly are thankful to be together for this day of celebration. Graduation is the most anticipated event of the year, not just for the feeling of excitement that comes with completing your degree, but to recognize that each of you is here today because of your commitment and determination to push yourselves toward greatness. Like all of you, in 1925, two men aspired to greatness. T. Higbee Embry, an entrepreneur, and John Paul Riddle, a barnstormer, launched the Embry-Riddle Company that taught flight, specialized in air mail delivery, and coordinated aircraft sales. After a series of mergers and acquisitions, the Embry-Riddle Company can be traced to what is now American Airlines. After the mergers, Embry did retire, but Riddle, whose passion for aviation was unwavering, found a new opportunity. He took on a new partner, John McKay, and they established the Embry-Riddle School of Aviation in 1939, located in Miami, Florida. As a school of aviation, it thrived and grew. But as so often happens throughout history, war interrupted. When Pearl Harbor was attacked, Riddle and McKay knew what they could offer. Without hesitation, they put their full support behind aiding the Allied war efforts by training cadets to be pilots and by providing mechanics and technicians. They also established a presence in Sao Paulo, Brazil, in support of related efforts. Eventually, Embry-Riddle became one of the first institutions approved to educate veterans under the GI Bill. It wasn't until Jack Hunt was named president in 1963 that the school, then named Embry-Riddle Aeronautical Institute, moved from Miami to Daytona Beach, Florida. In fact, in 1965, the move took place over a weekend with the help from civic leaders and citizens in the Daytona Beach community. Known as Operation Bootstrap, 31 trucks relocated Embry-Riddle to Daytona Beach, Florida, and that is where it has been ever since. In 1970, 2 years after earning SACS accreditation, the name was changed to Embry-Riddle Aeronautical University, and it has not stopped growing, with 2 residential campuses, one in Daytona Beach, Florida, and the other in Prescott, Arizona, and the Worldwide campus with over 100 locations in the US, Europe, Asia, and online. This university, your university, continues to promote excellence in aviation, aerospace, and space. Like your alma mater, you have grown beyond where you started. We know that the journey that brought you here today is not one you have done alone. Some of the faculty who have guided, mentored, and taught you from your first class to your capstone are here today to celebrate you. Distinguished faculty, please stand and be recognized. Thank you. Please be seated. The dedicated staff who helped and advised you, mapping out your journey to today, are here to celebrate you. Staff, please stand to be recognized. Thank you. Please be seated. And finally, the most honored guest, your family and friends who have supported your journey on this path are celebrating you today. Graduates, please stand and acknowledge your families for their support. Thank you. Please be seated. At this time, it is my honor to welcome Dr. John Wattrat, Chancellor for Embry-Riddle Aeronautical University Worldwide Campus, to the podium to officially open the commencement ceremony.
On behalf of the Board of Trustees of Embry-Riddle Aeronautical University, it is my pleasure to declare the 2022 commencement ceremony of Embry-Riddle Aeronautical University now open. Welcome and congratulations. This is a tremendous achievement in your lives. You have taken great pride in your accomplishments. Your friends and family members have supported you along the way, should feel proud. I am honored to help this celebration and this shining victory, your graduation from Embry-Riddle Aeronautical University, the world's premier aviation aerospace institution. As graduates of Embry-Riddle, you are now joining an elite community of more than 150,000 alumni. Wherever that life takes you from here, you can move forward towards a bright future with confidence, knowing that you can accomplish things you have never imagined possible. When life throws challenges in your path, which it will, please remember that you have gained knowledge at Embry-Riddle that goes well beyond technical skill. In addition to what you have learned about airport operations, airworthiness, business administration, or analytics, you have gained foundational strengths as a person and a leader. Your understanding the importance of patience, persistence, you know your own worth and the value of teamwork. Trust in your ability to succeed, and please call on each other when you need support. Remember, you will forever be an Embry-Riddle Eagle. Now it is my honor to introduce a very special guest, Mr. Spencer Burns, Chief Executive Officer, Cardiff Airport, who will provide your keynote address. Spencer serves as CEO at Cardiff Airport in Wales, a post he took up in August of 2020 during the peak of the worst crisis to impact the aviation industry. After 2 years at the helm, he has been instrumental in focusing the team on efforts to ensure the airport survives the virtual shutdown in trade that resulted from COVID-19, and subsequently leading the revival activities for the airport now that the freedoms for passengers to move again after global vaccination campaigns have eased the restrictions. Born to British expats living in South Africa, he was schooled in Johannesburg before continuing his studies focusing on international tourism management at Bury College in Lancashire, UK. While studying, he worked for Yates Wine Lodges, gaining valuable vocational management experience in the catering and beverage elements of the business. Spencer started his career in aviation while working for JetSet, a leading flight sales warehouse where he learned about consolidation of air transportation, ticketing, and pricing strategy in order to maximize and drive volume of sales. This was followed by 9 years with leading UK tour operator My Travel Group. In this period, he was able to develop through a range of many commercial and retail related management roles, the primary focus on contracting, product and revenue management. In 2003, he joined Manchester Airport in the UK with the remit of helping the airport forge stronger relationships with tour operators. After being headhunted by then Managing Director of Cardiff Airport in 2006, he moved to Wales to take up the role leading the air service development activities for the airport. In 2010, he assumed additional responsibilities for all the commercial activities for the company and was elevated to the board as a commercial director in 2013. Under his stewardship, the airport experienced 60% growth in that period to 2019. Spencer has also been serving company director on the board of the UK's Airport Operations Association since August 2020. His studies and career experience has helped him develop a strong focus on revenue development and cost controls, whilst ensuring an emphatic approach to staff development, which has all helped Cardiff Airport push the boundaries with entrepreneurial spirit and flair, delivering effective results. Spencer, the South African, is married to Monique from Holland and has 2 children, a daughter born in England and a son from Wales, which certainly makes for very entertaining occasions with respect to country competing with each other in sporting events and the 4 nations themes, which is sung in regular occasion in the Burns household. Please join me in our highly distinguished commencement speaker, Mr. Spencer Burns.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for having me. First of all, to the Chancellor, to the faculty, to all the staff at Embry-Riddle, and particularly to the graduates and all their family members, many congratulations on today. It's a fantastic celebration. We just wanted to use the opportunity of today's talk to talk through some ideas on what might help you progress in terms of securing work now that you've got these fantastic degrees. I'm truly honored to have this chance to speak to you today. I'm also very humbled, actually. It's an amazing ceremony to be celebrating with you all. I was never a star academic. I admire you all for getting to this stage. It's especially when you think about how you've all had to juggle so much in your lives, in particular those of you that are in the military. You know, you're working hard, you're doing things, you've also got your families here with you. There's a lot of you that have had to put up with other things going on in your lives and still get through to this process to get in this degree. That's absolutely brilliant. My experience in my work has been mostly vocational, as I'm sure you've just heard from the lengthy introduction by the Chancellor. I firmly believe to succeed in business, you need a balance of education and experience. But most of all, you need a balanced approach to what is good in the role you're going to be undertaking. And there'll be multiple roles that you're focusing on. It's amazing to see that so many superstars that come through these processes and they graduate and then they apply for the roles. And they're searching the prospective roles. They tend to fall at one of the hurdles. That is the bit that is quite surprising. So I wanted to talk a little bit about that today to share some advice on what we look for. Hopefully this will help you in your preparations. I can imagine how frustrating it must be when you've gone through a degree process, you've worked so hard to get there, that actually when you make these applications for jobs, you're not seen and you're not taken forward. That is one of the things that I think must be so frustrating, because these degrees give you the qualifications to get through that door. Surely you should be standing out with these qualifications you've got. So I just wanted to talk through some tips as to what might make you stand out more. I think for us, it's about making sure that you become the obvious choice in the process. What we look at is striking the right balance. That right balance being what is required for those fields that you're applying for the role in. It could be an essay debate in itself. What is the right balance, But reality is, it's actually often determined by the person on the other end of that table who's interviewing you. You've always got to remember, despite their titles and their ranks, they're actually human beings. They've got families, they've got pressures, they're also going through emotional challenges themselves. But the main difference is they're only more experienced than you at the time on that particular topic that they're actually recruiting you for. So, what you've got to remember is, in the process, you've got to figure out that they're actually trying to figure out what they need to mold into their team, and are you going to fit? Okay? So part of the trick here is to determine what your prospective employer is going to be needing and how you can fit into that mold. So it effectively starts from you providing them with a customer service. How does that work? Let's think about it for a couple of seconds. But I rarely just say you provide them with customer service. You've got to get into a chameleon style mode. You've got to adjust. The opportunity is you've got more chance to do that well ahead of the person at the other end of the table. You've got an advantage here. How does that actually work? Let's consider a couple of factors. When you apply for the job, you should have been doing the preparation and research into that company. You should have been taking the time into understanding properly about the role that you're applying for. And especially ensuring you know all of that detail and proper preparation before you go into the meeting. You'll have had more time to do that than the person on the other end of the table. That's going to give you the advantage. The person at the other end of the table is literally going through a list saying, is this person good enough to take forward into the role? You're going to be in an environment where you're going to have to win. You're going to have to do your absolute utmost to make it obvious that you're the one that they want. Have you ever heard of the 7 Ps? Right. This works in all sorts of things in life, but it's especially working when you're trying to apply for roles, particularly when you're looking for jobs outside of the sectors that you're normally used to. I know a number of you may, when you leave the military, be using your degrees to find alternative work. Think about these 7 Ps, okay? Proper planning, preparation, prevents this poor performance. Okay, I've added a 7th P for effect, apologies. You could argue that the number 7 is lucky for some as well. But thinking about it, you're preparing properly for that interview. You're going to be studying and learning about the company, the role, and your ability to game plan for way more time, as we said before, than the person doing the interview on the other end. But you think of it like dress to impress. Now look, all of us today, absolutely stunning, beautiful. But that dress to impress mode needs to be in the thought process when you're going to the interview. Because when you truly impress, you stand out from the crowd. One of the interesting things you've done at university is you've already done the hard graft. You know all about preparation. You know all about working hard to get these things through. You've gone, and that's given you the advantage by getting these degrees, by doing all that hard graft. Now let's go back to the point I said about becoming a chameleon. When you go through work, in your working life, particularly when you get into management roles and leadership roles, good employers should be training you on how to understand what you need to create in the dynamics for a team. How are you going to develop talent in those teams? How are you going to learn about the impacts of values, cultural backgrounds, personalities, styles? All of these will determine likelihood of success. So now you've got to remember, I mean, you've heard the saying that you can't have too many cooks in the kitchen. Yeah. So now we've got to remember this process. The people on the other end of that table who are creating this team by employing people into that area are looking for all these things. So really what you've got to look out for is, you know, what are they looking for? One thing I can absolutely tell you is if they're in a recruitment process, they will not be looking for too many egos. Too many egos in a team can cause chaos. So being this chameleon is about the preparation to make sure you know about yourself properly. Understand your strengths. Be cognizant of them. Understand your weaknesses. Identify what they are and make sure you're clear on how you'll overcome them. But especially focus on your values and how they may differ to the organization you're joining, or you're applying to join. All of this will help you You've got to be tolerant, you've got to be respectful. Yes, you've got to be tenacious, but be humble. You should definitely speak up for yourselves, but in a productive manner. Certainly don't stand on your teammates because they won't help you. They will certainly remember it and it won't help in the long run. But most of all, figure out in your preparation what you need to do to stand out from that crowd. Many of you may not be extroverts. It may not be natural for you to want to do this. But this is the time for you to tell you. You've got to be your own number one fan. Certainly not an easy task, but you've got to get it right. And if you do, you're going to get the roles. And remember, once you're in post, my advice is remain strong, remain focused, positive, and deliver those results. Try not to listen to any negative noise. Certainly don't be the one making the negative noises in the first 2 years of employment. I always like to make an analogy when I'm talking to audiences to see if people can sort of understand a comparison here. So to me in my role, an airport executive, I get a lot of negative noise. I get criticized from all sorts of corners, quite often from colleagues, customers, stakeholders, quite frequently politicians. Always varies. In young careers, like you're going to be going into, you will get noise. And this will probably be mostly from colleagues. They may be annoyed, they may be fed up with the situation, they may see you as competition. You could also get it from complete strangers, people you've never met before. And you'll certainly get it in social media. So, I work to a principle that they're just the noisy football fans on the side of a field. I'm the lucky superstar who's on that pitch today playing to win. I've been given the opportunity to get out there and get the results. I'm not scared because I know that I'm going to give over 100% to get those results. And ultimately, if the team manager decides I'm not good enough for the team, I will have learned in that process. And I'll go on and I'll get into another team and I'll still deliver. So that approach is what you need to have as a focus on your ability. You've already got that ability because you just graduated from Embry-Riddle. You've already got the ability to focus and deliver results. Take that positive energy now, and you'll find that all that effort you've put in will show. And now when you take that forward into your role searches, you can actually get on and make success. Now let's just talk briefly about the sector you're going into. You've just graduated from Embry-Riddle. You know, it's the premier aeronautical university in the world. You've chosen a super exciting industry to be in. It's massively broad. The pathways for aviation and aerospace are vast. These sectors themselves will give you loads of scope of choice. I'm very, very lucky in my current role that I work in a sector that I really enjoy. I've been working in the industry for almost 30 years, and time literally flies when you enjoy your work. In my specific sector, we run a port for the industry. But running an airport can be a bit confusing for people sometimes. One of the questions I always get asked is, how many free tickets do you get in the airplanes? I also get asked, why do we set the ticket prices so high to fly to those places? Or why do we allow the airlines to fly at those ridiculous times of the day? Why don't we get their bags to them quickly enough? Or, my plane left Turkey 3 hours ago, my bag's not here, where is it? All these things people expect. Many, many other things we get asked, but we simply don't control. Ultimately, we're running a port. As an airport operator, our obligations are to provide a safe and secure environment for an aircraft operator to use our facilities for whichever purposes they deem they need to use them. It can vary from carrying passengers, it can be pilot training, it can be hobby flying, it can be maintenance, it can be cargo, it goes on and on. We provide terminals in a clean and secure manner to make sure the passengers have a safe journey, whether it's getting onto their flights or off their flights. We also provide the facilities for them in those terminals to make sure they get to enjoy their journeys. But we don't control the bags getting on off the airplanes. We don't control whether the cabin crew actually show up for work on the day. Unfortunately, we don't control the border staff and the numbers at the borders. We wish we did, because it would be much shorter queues. We don't control the airlines. We don't control the setting of their prices, or their routes, or their schedules, the time of the day. And unfortunately, I don't get free tickets. One thing I do get is free parking, though. But I love it because it's a very exciting part of the supply chain for aviation and aerospace. Without the airports, aircraft operators can't land and take off. Customers can't go on their flights, and we can't go around the world to meet up with people, family, and friends and have exciting journeys. Every day for us is very different. So I thought as part of the preparation for today, I'd give you a little bit of an insight into what a week in the life of an airport director is like. So I looked at my diary in the last week, and I picked out some of the highlights. Now, unfortunately, we work 8, 9-hour days. Not everything is just one meeting at a time. But if I just pick out some of the highlights of the last week, I'll just talk you through how varied it's been. So Monday morning, I got into the office. First thing I had a meeting on was with our operations director about planning for the funeral, unfortunately, of the Queen who passed away in the UK. And for us, it's about the impact of flights for all these foreign dignitaries coming into the UK. There's not enough space for all their planes in London, so we're having to take overflow of those planes into our airport. And then, on top of that, we found out the new king is actually visiting Wales, which happened to be yesterday. We had to prepare for that as well. On Tuesday, one of my meetings was actually with a company that's making a solar farm with us. We're actually creating our own solar farm on the airport facilities so that we can lock in our energy prices for the next 20 years. We can provide our own energy and also get carbon net zero out of the same plan. On Wednesday, would you believe it, I met with Coca-Cola. And this wasn't about drinks. It was actually about the World Cup. So Coca-Cola, a major sponsor of the World Cup football, are actually taking the trophy on a tour of all the nations that are qualified. They're bringing the cup to Wales. They're bringing it into our airport. And all of a sudden, we're thinking, hang on a sec, we've got a whole bunch of planning and preparation here because this trophy is like gold dust. It's got, well and truly, it's got to be looked after. So we spent a lot of time with Coca-Cola preparing for that visit. Thursday, I was in a meeting with the UK government aviation minister, and we were talking about resilience planning for the winter. What does that mean? For us, it was talking about how do you make sure the airport stays operational in the event of inclement weather. So snow is typical inclement weather for winter, but actually for us, in particular with the environmental changes that are going on, a lot of the inclement weather these days is actually major storms. But we're also preparing for another headwind, and that's whether we have serious extra restrictions due to COVID again. On Friday, I was in a meeting with another company about football. This time, it was companies who are traveling with fans to Qatar. That's the first time Wales have qualified for a World Cup since 1958. So it's a big thing in Wales, and we've got loads of charter flights going down to Qatar. The tour operator in themselves wanted to come see us to see what we would do to look after their fans, how we'd make it a special occasion for everyone coming to our airport. And today, look at my diary, I'm very lucky to be here in Dreieich at this fabulous location, speaking to you all at your graduation ceremony. I promise you, every week is different. Not only for me as director of the company, but all my colleagues who work for us. We got very varied weeks, and that makes it fascinating for us. We're always learning in our jobs every day. But I hope that my efforts to give you some hints into job hunting and some insights into what we do will be useful for you as part of your preparations. I wish you loads of success in your chosen paths. Following today's graduation ceremony, many congratulations to you all, and thank you to all your families for supporting you through this process. Very well done. Thank you for listening.
Thank you for your great message and interesting message on what the life of an executive at an airport is. And no, they don't get free tickets, obviously. So on behalf of Embry-Riddle, we'd like to demonstrate their gratitude and present you with the Distinguished Speakers Award.
Embry-Riddle's longtime support of the military is a point of pride. In fact, U.S. News & World Report has named Embry-Riddle #1 for the best online bachelor's programs for veterans for 7 straight years. Many of the graduates here today are veterans in active duty. You will know who they are as they cross the stage because they will be wearing a blue stole. Will they and all members of the military and veterans who are here today please stand and be recognized? Thank you for your sacrifice. Please be seated. At this time, the faculty of the Embry-Riddle Aeronautical University Worldwide are pleased to present the candidates for graduate degrees. As we announce our graduate students, you will see that they have a hood draped on their arms. This hood reflects their status as graduate candidates, and as they cross the stage, they will be hooded by Dr. Robert Walton. You will also notice that all the hoods reflect the Embry-Riddle School colors of royal blue and gold. The colors of the satin binding on the hoods are different. Each color distinguishes one college degree from the other. Silver and orange for the degrees from the College of Aviation to include silver for Master of Science in Aeronautics, Master of Science in Occupational Safety Management, orange for Master of Science in Airworthiness Engineering, drab for the degrees from the College of Business to include Master of Business Administration in Aviation, Master of Science in Management Information Systems, Master of Science in Project Management. Several graduates will be wearing gold medallions. These master's degree candidates are to be graduated with distinction as they have achieved a grade point average of 4.0 for the entirety of their program. As a group, will these students please stand to be recognized? Please be seated. At this time, I would like to invite Chancellor Wautret to join me at the podium. Will the candidates for the master's degrees from the College of Aviation please rise? Dr. Wautret, it is my honor to present the candidates for the College of Aviation master's degrees as recommended by the faculty.
This begins the candidates for the degree of Master of Science in Aeronautics. Shantanu Mishra. This begins the candidates for the degree of Master of Science in Airworthiness Engineering. Javon Sims, with distinction. Mirko Silla, with distinction. This begins the candidates for the degree of Master of Science in Occupational Safety Management. Jimmy Boutron. This concludes the presentation of master's degrees from the College of Aviation.
Will the candidates for the master's degrees from the College of Business please rise? Dr. Watrat, it is my honor to present the candidates for the College of Business master's degrees as recommended by the faculty.
This begins the candidates for the degree of Master of Business Administration in Aviation. Ryan Smith, with distinction. This begins the candidates for the degree of Master of Science in Management Information Systems. Albert Fenrich. Christine Smith. This begins the candidates for the degree of Master of Science in Project Management. Joshua John Stevens. This concludes the presentation of master's degrees from the College of Business. This also concludes the presentation of master's degrees.
Congratulations. Regarding the undergraduate degree candidates here today, you will notice that a number of them are wearing honor cords. The significance of these honor cords is directly connected with academic performance. Those graduates who are wearing white cords have achieved a grade point average between 3.5 and 3.69 and graduate cum laude with honors. As a group, will these students please stand and be recognized? Please be seated. Those graduates who are wearing gold cords have achieved a grade point average between 3.9 and 4.0 and graduate summa cum laude with highest honors. As a group, will these students please stand and be recognized? Please be seated. Dr. Wautret, will you please join me at the podium? Will the candidates for the bachelor and associate degrees from the College of Aviation please rise? Dr. Wautret, it is my honor to present the candidates for the College of Aviation bachelor's and associate degrees as recommended by the faculty.
This begins the candidates for the degree of Bachelor of Science in Aeronautics. Jackson Don Gilbreth. Jesse Vasquez Gonzalez, Alpha Sigma Lambda. Jonathan Marquez, summa cum laude. Angel Milan, Alpha Sigma Lambda. Brett Allen Owen, summa cum laude. This begins the candidates for the degree of Bachelor of Science in Aviation Maintenance. Peter Roy. This begins the candidates for the degree of Bachelor of Science in Engineering. Leilani Lam Emilio, cum laude. This begins the candidates for the degree of Associate of Science in Aeronautics. Ernie Kojo. Will the candidates for the bachelor degrees from the College of Business please rise? Dr. Wautret, it is my honor to present the candidates for the College of Business bachelor's degree as recommended by the faculty. This begins the candidates for the degree of Bachelor of Science in Logistics and Supply Chain Management. Anthony Hernandez. This begins the candidates for the degree of Bachelor of Science in Project Management. Anthony Panero, summa cum laude, Alpha Sigma Lambda. David Salgado. Joshua Shields. This begins the candidates for the degree of Bachelor of Science in Technical Management. Kevin Banks. Colleen Bard. Mariah Blazacek. Jesse Lopez. Ivan Tamez Monreal. This concludes the undergraduate degrees from the College of Business. This also concludes the presentation of undergraduate degrees.
We have now arrived at the moment for which we have all been waiting. Will all graduating candidates from the colleges please rise and remain standing? Dr. Watrat, these candidates have completed all of the requirements of their degrees. With the recommendation of the faculty of Embry-Riddle Aeronautical University, I am pleased to present them to you for the conferring of degrees.
This is a moment. By the authority vested in me by the Board of Trustees, I hereby confer upon you, as appropriate, the Associate in Science degree, the Bachelor of Science degree, and the Master of Science degree, with all rights, privileges, honours, and responsibilities appertaining thereto. Congratulations, graduates. You may now move your tassel to the left side of your mortar board, symbolizing your new status as a graduate of Embry-Riddle Aeronautical University. Congratulations.
Ladies and gentlemen, please stand for the singing of our alma mater. The words are on the last page of your program.
Eagles gather near, we lift our voices loud and clear, soaring high, O alma mater, threads of blue and gold. United we soar in vast open skies. Embry-Riddle, we hail thee, great memories will hold. pledge in love and harmony our loyalty to you, singing thy praise, remembering the days, coast to coast around the world, our bond forever true, embracing our dreams with pride far and wide. Embry-Riddle, we hail thee, great memories we'll hold. So here's to you, old ERAU, alma mater true. We pledge in love and harmony our loyalty to you.
We are delighted that all of you could be here today to share in this special occasion. Please remain standing as Dr. Roberts offers the closing benediction.
And now, as we leave this place, may eternal love enfold us. May spiritual power strengthen us. May strong hands comfort us. And may we be carried on eagle's wings until we meet again. Amen.
Graduates will be guided to a group photo immediately following commencement. Family and friends, please be seated. We ask that you remain seated until the platform party, faculty, and all graduates have left the area, and we invite you to join us for a dessert reception in the lounge next door. Thank you.